Hi there, it's Timmy Joe with another review. Oh my god. Hi, it's Timmy Joe. I do computer reviews and stuff on YouTube. I've had to recently get another AM4 motherboard. Figured I'd do a little review on it because I'm really freaking enjoying it. I have this crazy build right here, this AMD Ryzen custom case, and it required the use of a micro ATX board. So I was looking for a sponsor for it, and I thought I had one lined up. It fell through. I don't know what happened, but I ended up having to buy one myself. But these things are so cheap, it's not a big deal. This goes for $64.99 right now on Newegg.com American, and there's even mail-in rebates for them. So it's a pretty good time to buy one of these boards. This does come in a full ATX flavor as well, so I'm pretty sure this review will kind of apply to both, except for the ATX one will have a crossfire support and a little bit bigger of a footprint. But cue an intro, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about this ASRock AB350 PRO4 motherboard. Okay, so yeah, I've had the opportunity to try my Ryzen 7 1700 on an MSI Gaming Plus Prime board, something with molten lava all over it, and it wasn't bad, especially considering it's MSI. It's a huge company. It's hard for them to get it wrong, except for it looked like Volcano threw up all over their BIOS and their box. Then I used the Asus Prime B350 Plus motherboard since really my adoption into Ryzen, and it's been an alright partner, but it's certainly had its foibles and some oddities, and I wish I would have got one of these ASRock boards, I think, from the get-go, because I've had a very good experience with it so far. I feel like they've cut a lot of the BS out of it. It's more for like, hey, you know what, you guys use computers, we know, if you just want things to work, let's not throw a whack load of like extra options into the BIOS or into the software for the motherboard. Let's just make everything work really well, and we'll make sure BIOS updates are there for memory support and what have you. And they've done a really good job. I fired some RAM in there, loads an XMP profile, bam, it works really well. I want to overclock, I dial in my settings. I find I can actually go with lesser voltage on this board than any other board I've used before and get the same results, which makes things cooler, which is nice, especially for this case. So we'll get into the BIOS in a second, just so you can peek around in there and see what's going on. But overall impressions with this, very good, and it has two M.2 slots, which is awesome at this price point. It's one of the cheaper boards, and none of the other two I used had more than one M.2 slot. This actually has two RGB headers on it too, so I'm glad I picked it. It didn't really fit the theme of the build, but I figured you don't see much of the motherboard anyways once it's in there. It doesn't have any glowing lights on it or anything like that. It's a white and black theme, but I picked it because of how cheap it was for the extra little features it came with. It was a really good deal. I'm really glad I picked it, and it was one of the better deals coming out of this build for sure so far. So let's jump into the BIOS. We'll see what I like about it and how easy it is to overclock and dial in the settings that you really want. Hi there, it's Timmy Joe, and we are loading into the BIOS here. So this, boom, as you as you just load up the motherboard and go into the BIOS for the first time, this is pretty much what it's going to look like, except for, of course, your overclock is going to be nil. But there's no special hold your hand screens. There's no easy mode like in the MSI and Asus boards. It's just a straightforward interface. Even though this is one of the lower ends, it does have some pretty good options in it. It's missing a few things, but we'll get to that in a second. So you can see here I've got my AB350 PRO4. I'm running the BIOS P2 3.4 AMD Ryzen 7 1700 8-core processor running at 3.825 gigahertz, and I got 16 gigs of dual channel memory in here. And despite this being 2666 megahertz DDR4 RAM, it's special Ryzen branded memory, and it's actually running even at a faster speed, 2933. So that's very, very nice. It's nice to see that you know, this ASRock board is accepting that. I haven't really had good luck even with this memory on the Asus board going any higher than 2666 in a lot of cases. So good on them. This motherboard supports up to 3200 speed apparently. I haven't been able to get the RAM that high, but maybe if you have some pretty expensive DDR4, you could get it that high with this board, so that is nice. So you come in here, you change this from auto to manual, then you can change your multiplier here. I got it at 3825, and I've upped my voltage. It defaults to like just under 1.2, so it's pretty low to begin with. And then I got it here at 1.318, to keep my temperatures kind of in the middle. But that's one of the lower voltages I've had to use to get 3.825 gigahertz. So kudos to ASRock. I don't know what you're doing, but it's working. It's making it so I got a pretty stable overclock, and the voltages are pretty low, which makes me excited to see once I get some proper cooling in this thing. I actually have a Noctua cooler coming right from Noctua to try and achieve a good overclock in this case. It might be kind of hard, but we'll see what happens. But this board seems to be pretty friendly for it. So going down here, you can check XMP profile, and loads right off the you know, the memory modules, what the timing and stuff should be for them. And you could go in here, you see it goes from anywhere from 1866 all the way up to 3200. And then yeah, you can adjust some advanced timing stuff here, but it's nice that this is just right here on this page. A lot of BIOSes hide this in another menu, the timings and stuff like that. Just make sure you can, you know, make sure that the XMP profile is right, because these numbers are like actually printed on the RAM themselves. My RAM voltage just bumped up a smidgen. That was the only way I could get it to boot. Well, actually, no, it booted pretty well, but it did do a restart after I ran Cinebench. But once I upped the RAM voltage just a smidgen, because it's like defaults to I think 1.15, so at both 0.1 volts, and then I was able to maintain stability, which is really nice. And I put this VDDP voltage up just one notch as well, because I've heard that that helps. And then scrolling down right in the overclocking menu, there's, you know, it's not hidden, overclocking profiles, which is really nice. You just hit save, user profile, select one, put in a name, hit enter, and away you go. It's ready to go. So that's pretty nice. A lot of other BIOSes I've seen hide that, you know, the profiles in another menu under tools or something like that. So it's fairly obvious it's right there. Now under advanced, I couldn't find any load line calibration settings for this. So that's definitely one thing it's missing, if you know what that is, but it's something that helps with stability and voltage dropping, gives it a little voltage bump. Well, I don't see that in here at all. I don't know if that's just an Asus thing or what, but yeah, I don't see it. So you have some, you know, CPU configuration. There's just really basic stuff in all these menus. Nothing you'd really want to be playing with too much. But then you can go into tools. You can turn the RGB headers off and on. You can't actually change the color in them here. There is some RAID stuff in here if you want to set up a RAID. And you flash your BIOS under tools as well. There is a setting to do it from the internet. It doesn't seem to work. But I even put in some network settings here. I couldn't get it to work, but that might be because I'm behind a router. But it's probably not a good idea to update your BIOS off the internet anyways. Just put it on a USB key. It worked fine that way for me. Under hardware monitor, you see your temperatures. It's actually getting kind of hot in here. And you can set a fan profile in here as well. And then under security, you know, you got your password stuff. And then under boot, you got your, you know, your boot settings for your hard drives and what have you. But nothing too crazy in here. Full screen logo. We're gonna hit disable. Why don't we do that? And then exit, save and exit. Away you go. So that is a pretty simple BIOS in my opinion, but it works. And what I really like is it had no problem going into some higher overclocks at lower voltages than I've seen in other motherboards, as well as I got an even higher RAM overclock than the RAM is rated for, and I haven't even had luck getting to the 2066 in some cases on other motherboards. But you know, we are a couple months into the life cycle of these Ryzen boards, and ASRock apparently has been one of the better boards for updating BIOSes and, you know, memory compatibility and stuff like that. So it makes me want to get an X370 version of the ASRock, like a Tai Chi, and really see what we can do with Ryzen in that case with a really good ASRock board. I think I'm going to stick with them for the next little bit. It just seems like I really like these boards, and the BIOS is just simple, it works, and there's no BS. Things just seem to boot, and they're a little bit smoother, you know, and boot faster, so it's nice. So yeah, that's the board here. So I'm Timmy Joe. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, I'm at Watch Timmy Joe on Instagram and Twitter. You can ask them on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. It's a good idea. I put stuff up there all the time. And yeah, subscribe for the next video, because there's always lots of computer review content here. We're gonna get a Noctua cooler in the next couple days, fired in this build here up here, and it's gonna be pretty fun.